We will begin this evening with a blessing from Dana Ward, Tribal Councilwoman for the Jamestown S'Klallam Tribe. Dana has been a clinical nurse at the Jamestown Family Health Clinic for several years and continues to be a leader in public health for our region. So please welcome Dana for a blessing with respectful silence.
Thank you so much. Sayamni Nischayacha, Dana Ward, Ensna, Sitiklan Lutzglayam, Aitzwachi, Ainu. I am Dana Ward of Jamestown S'Klallam Tribe, and this indeed is a good day. It is indeed my pleasure to be invited to join you tonight to this event, and so we're going to start with a blessing and a prayer, and if you would please stand, and we'd like to invite you just to participate in your own way. Our Father and Creator, we thank you for the opportunity to gather together this evening. And what a beautiful night it is to be able to just enjoy the company of one another again, and to be able to think of all the good and the things that has transpired in these past months at this time. We stand in this place, but we can't help but acknowledge all the beauty that it surrounds us. We are so blessed. Thank you for each one that is present here tonight to celebrate the work that continues on at the Northwest Maritime Center. As a representative of the Jamestown people, I give you thanks for those who have joined hands in our vision to protect the land and the waterways of our people that have lived and thrived on this land for countless generations. Thank you for this group of people who have invested interest in preserving and celebrating the integrity of our Earth's resources. We ask that you bless and you prosper this organization. May it be fruitful and impacting in this community and the surrounding regions. We give thanks for all the committee members and the board members and all the many, many volunteers that it takes to make the Northwest Maritime Center a success that it is today. We thank you for the donors, those who are willing to contribute and give their support and monetarily. And may the recipients of the work of this organization find great purpose and fulfillment. May their lives be greater enriched because of their participation in the activities and the educational opportunities that are provided on this beautiful ground. Lastly, we thank you tonight for food. We thank you for all the things that are supplied to us off the land. We thank you for those that you have brought to prepare our food, that it would nourish us and strengthen us and help us to do all the work that you called each of us to do and contribute as we stand here together tonight. We give you thanks. Oh, Atmasan, thank you so much.
Thank you, Dana, and to the Jamestown S'Klallam Tribe for this blessing and for your support for our organization and for Navigator Night Out. I would like to begin with a land acknowledgement. The Maritime Center is on land that is loved, cared for, and reverently utilized by the indigenous people of the Salish Sea and has been since time immemorial. Today, indigenous people are our neighbors, colleagues, partners, and a shared love and respect for the sea and its teachings. We are grateful to respectfully live and work as guests on these lands and waters. This acknowledgement is one act in the ongoing process of working to deepen our relationship with the people of these lands and waters. Welcome. Welcome to Navigator Night Out. My name is Lynn Turwards. I am the board president. As you know, it takes a tremendous amount of talent and energy to pull off an event like this. And I want to thank some people, and I'm going to ask you to hold off on your applause to the end. First and foremost, thank you to the development department, especially Len Moran-Goldstein, Stephen Streufert, Caitlin Keene, Christina Verdick, and of all of the staff here at the Maritime Center. I would invite the staff to please stand up so that everyone can see your beautiful faces and recognize you. Thank you. We shouldn't hold off on that applause, should we? Joel Goldstein, thank you for the technology, everything here, the AV, all of that. I also want to recognize my fellow board members, so if you don't mind, I also would like you to stand up because I know you have put many hours of your time and effort into this organization as well as your own resources, financial resources. So Steve Oliver, Chris Morris, Bruce Jones, Ron Moeller, Leanne Serrano, who else is on? And Sarah Kara, Scott Boki, great, and Ron, thank you for bringing the rowers, supporting this organization before there was even a building. I would also like to recognize Heidi Eisenhower. You would also give a yes, county commissioner, but and also importantly, our Northwest Maritime Center colleague. Yes, thank you. And the wonderful food that's been provided here is from Crescent Moon Catering. Stringology is back again. We're so grateful for the lovely music. And a Girls Boat Project alum made the cupcakes. And I hope I don't hurt anybody as I run to that table later on tonight. I apologize if my elbows get out there. Okay, so again, please thank everyone who made this possible. It's time for me now to get on with tonight's program. When you hear from our speakers tonight, I think you'll understand why it is that I fall in love with this organization again and again. You will hear of profound experiences from individuals who have discovered their higher and better selves on and around the water. And I hope that means as much to you as it does to me. So let's begin. I'm going to begin by introducing our first speaker, Steve Oliver, a longtime Northwest Maritime Center board president and also part of the founders of this organization long before there was a building here. Steve is here tonight in a little bit of a different role. He served for many years as a corporate director and continues to, and the First Federal Board. Most recently, I think for many years, as the chairman of that board. And as many of you already know, First Fed has been an ongoing and significant supporter of the Northwest Maritime Center and has been committed to being a leader in giving throughout this region. So please give a warm maritime welcome to Steve Oliver.
I guess I'll stand on the stool. That's really for the two limbs, but I can do that. Imagine that I'm 47, that I am whip smart, scary smart, and work for a bank as its chief operating officer, because that's who's supposed to be speaking to you tonight. Chris Riffle. At 4 o'clock this afternoon, he called me and said, I think I've got COVID, I've just been tested, and you got to cover for me. So here I am. I'm wearing a little different hat than I think I ever have on this campus before, and that's as a member of the board of directors of First Federal Bank, a local community bank here on the Olympic Peninsula, and now as we've grown throughout the Puget Sound region. I want to share with you tonight why the directors of First Federal Bank, and it's a director-level decision, have engaged in the sponsorship of events like this, the Race to Alaska Ruckus, the Wooden Boat Festival, all of those things earlier this year, and why we made a major donation to the original construction of this project. And I'd like you to think about that as you think about your own involvement with your community and your organization. A critical component of our mission at First Federal as a community bank is to promote and assist both private and public projects that create economic development opportunities in the communities that we serve and enhance the quality of life in the communities that we serve. It's been a part of our mission and our corporate culture for the 100 years that the bank has existed. And First Federal is extremely proud of the success of the Northwest Maritime Center and extremely proud of the fact that we invested very early in the capital construction of this campus, and that again this year we made another major contribution to the continued growth and development of this organization. And I commend to you to read the 2021 annual report of the Northwest Maritime Center, because it talks about the growth of this organization over the last 10 years in terms of the number of people that it serves, the types of programs that it's developed and implemented, and even more importantly, the projection for the next 5 years. And the growth projections for this organization over the next 5 years are truly impressive. And with my bank hat on, and as a banker, when I look at a company like this, we look at, do they have the talent to do what they want to do? And you check that box. Yes, they do. Do they have a vision that makes sense? And you check that box. Yes, they do. Do they have the financial strength and the liquidity to pull it off? Because when you start up and expand new programs, you need cash before the cash comes back in to serve those programs. So First Federal said, we can help with the investment in the future of this organization because we believe in it. And we can invest in this organization if we can provide you with the short-term liquidity that you need to start putting these programs together and let it grow. So we made significant grants to the organization earlier this year, and it was a unanimous decision of our board, and we're excited about it. We've made similar commitments in Port Angeles to the Field Event Center over there, and that construction will resume in August, and that building's going to be completed, and it's very impressive if you haven't seen it. Get over there and get a look at that facility in Port Angeles. We're very proud to be a part of the Maritime Center family. We will be for a long time to come, and I encourage all of you, whether it's by volunteering, whether it's by donations, whatever it is, get involved with this organization and this community because it's a wonderful and rewarding experience. And thank you very much for being here tonight. And First Federal's excited to be here with you. Thanks.
I have my own mic, that's great. Hello everyone. For those of you I've yet to meet, my name is Jake Beatty, and it has been my honor and privilege to serve as the Executive Director here at the Northwest Maritime Center for a really long time. I'm not going to do the math because it involves toes at this point. And I'm also got a little brain fog going on. The rumors are true. I am just emerging from COVID. So for those of you in the front row who are just like subtly reaching for your mask, I'm okay. I'm 10 days out, so I'm clear. As long as I don't like sneeze on you or like lick the doorknobs, I'm okay to be here. But also, if you want to wear a mask, that's totally fine too. That's up to you. That's up to you. I see you, Leah. Yeah. So, out of an abundance of caution, I was told that I'm going to be here from a safe distance and wave, sort of, rather than mingling and breathing among you all. So, a safe distance hello to all of you. Hi, Mom and Dad. Sorry I don't get to hug you. I'll debrief how the food smelled later. But regardless of the brain fog, or how many years I've been walking up those stairs over there to go to work, I can honestly say that every day I do that, I'm still inspired by what this place takes on, what it accomplishes, and the community that finds meaning and fellowship here. I'm still inspired because I have a deep passion for the powerful experiences of the sea and how we approach connecting people to those experiences. We're broad and we're deep. We focus on individuals and community, multi-generational, multicultural, and we offer the full soup to nuts maritime experience if that's what you're looking for, or less if you're not. Maybe you just want nuts. Maybe you just want a nut. Maybe it's a corn nut. Does no one look at what I say before I say it? This is ridiculous. I had COVID. You should have checked my math. Okay, I'm going to reel this in a little bit. We're going to come back to this later, but one of the sources of love that I have for this place is that however you want to get engaged, there is a place for you here. Highest trained professional, least informed tourist, young, old, the Maritime Center is here for you, and not just where you are now, but where your aspirations might take you. The Maritime Center is designed to welcome who you are while it welcomes and informs those aspirations, and often aspirations we help inspire. The continuum is our source code. I'm going to come back to this. When I started thinking about what I was going to say to you all tonight, I wasn't sure if it was COVID brain fog or just I've worked here long enough that I've aged into this demographic that doesn't think of a year as a significant amount of time. Because my honest to God first thought was like, we just talked to them a year ago. What are we possibly going to tell them? What have we done? It's only been a year. Last year, we were finally together and emerging from a pandemic. And this year, we're finally together and emerging from a pandemic. It's literally the same moment. But thinking there's nothing to talk to you about is hilarious, honestly, because this place doesn't grow moss very well. We've been busy, and we just skipped down the top of the things we've done last year. We started Maritime High School. We did that. We bought a hotel. We helped launch a newly minted National Maritime Heritage Area. We emerged from a pandemic, brought things back like school programs, races to Alaska, summer programs are underway. The library's open again. Admiral Jack out there is doing it's like a new floating classroom and summer tours on the bay. And we're going to have a wooden boat festival. Everybody knock wood. Everybody knock wood. We're back. To highlight all those things I just mentioned is to underplay significantly all the work it takes to do anything, but especially what it takes to go from 100% pre-pandemic to 20% mid-pandemic to 150% by the end of this year. It's a lot. We're ending the year with 50% more activity than we did before the pandemic. More kids on the water, more people in classes, boats to Alaska, all of it. We're emerging bigger, stronger, better organization than we were, but man, it's been some work to do it. The fact that we're here now is thanks to all of you, and especially the staff and the members of the board you all thanked earlier, but I really appreciate all of your steady hands on the tiller because it's rocky times, so thank you from me. So back when I was randomly talking about corn nuts a little while ago, I asked you to hang on to an idea. It was a notion that the Maritime Center has a place for everyone. Young, old, professional, amateur. That means it also has a place for you. Wherever you are, as long as you grow for the rest of your life. You want to build a boat? Learn to sail. Create community, sail to Alaska, cross an ocean, become employable. As the experiences you aspire change, we help you build on those too. Tonight you're going to hear about not just those pinnacle experiences that maritime education is so incredible at creating, but the impact that's possible when we are able to offer those experiences over time and in community. Impact can happen over a weekend, but change takes time. And I'm not just talking about the young people we serve, but also the force of community good that the Maritime Center truly is. Change is only really possible with staying power, and this place has it in spades. Partly because of what we offer, but partly because this ecosystem of inspiration that kind of is like perpetual motion. Who knew that a team of teenagers could race successfully to Alaska? But it happened this year. I got super inspired about it. And I know other people here did too. So fun. A final thought that runs the risk of people walking away muttering something like, I don't know, I just kept talking about corn nuts and Woody Allen. But back when it was okay to like Woody Allen, one of his favorite quotes of his was, 80% of success is just showing up. Outside of my last 2 COVID-ridden weeks when 100% of success was absolutely not showing up, I think that it holds up remarkably well. Possibilities happen when you show up. Showing is the first step towards action. It's the difference between glossing over and giving a damn, between changing the channel and taking responsibility. Showing up is the first step. It's not the only step, but it's the first one. One of the things that makes me proudest about the Maritime Center is that we show up time and again and address needs and chase opportunities for our community. Whether it's finding ways like the Race to Alaska and this Wooden Boat Festival to uplift and celebrate the maritime part of our community, addressing gender representation in maritime trades through programs like Girls Boat Project and Sea Tales, developing workforce opportunities for adjudicated youth through real-world readiness, or unlocking the maritime world for high school students both here in Port Townsend and for students in South Seattle. We show up. We do that. And we keep doing it, even in those times when a lot of us look each other in the eye and say, like, enough for now, right? We got enough. We're not going to keep everyone nod. We got enough going on. And even as we nod at each other, we're like slowly sort of like walking toward the next opportunity. Right here, we are in the beginning stages of amplifying our impact through expanding our campus across the street and deepening the connections between our community and its maritime self. One of the speakers tonight is going to tell you about this newly formed, federally designated maritime heritage area. And right now, we're working with them to retool the channelry to better engage people in the maritime parts of our community. And not in a dusty way, and not in that way that just focuses on the white people part of maritime history, but like, because if you think about the continuum of human history, all 10,000 years people have been here and on the water, like 200 years of that includes white people. All of it includes Native people. So if we're going to continue to be authentically here, we got to make sure we keep bringing Native stories to the center of that. And we're going to keep doing that. So imagine a visitor center that helps you introduce yourself to the Native canoe culture, the boat school, the marine trade business, classes, opportunities to get on the water, walk down the street to the museum and learn more, the cool boats that are on the dock and in the boatyard, anything that's just down the road a little bit. It's going to be the first project of its kind in the state, and we're doing it in partnership with the Washington Trust for Historic Preservation, and it all just started by showing up, raising our hand. So we're going to keep showing up, and it's part of who I think of when I think of as the we of the United States, the Northwest Maritime Center. You know, it's all we. Did I say corn nuts and distract you from that? Anyway, as part of the we of the Northwest Maritime Center, I want to thank you all for showing up tonight. It feels good to be in community after weird years of our recent past. But more than that, it's heartening to feel the support and solidarity with all of you. One of our emerging organizational touchstones is a simple phrase, with, not for. With, not for. Let that rattle around your brain. Try that on. It's kind of nice. Say it to yourself. With, not for. For us, it's a reminder that to do our work, we need to be in community with the communities we call home. And tonight, it struck me that with goes both ways. We are here with you, and you are here with us. And if we're doing with right, the line between us and you kind of get blurry, right? The line between the Maritime Center and the community grows away. So I want to thank you for showing up tonight, first step. I want to thank you, more importantly, for being with us. Thank you for being us. I'm incredibly proud of the work we do through this place and what impacts it makes on young people, our community, and across the region. And I hope this evening you get a modicum of that sort of inspiration that I feel every time I walk up those stairs and go away. Thank you. Our next speaker is, oh, there you are, hi. I'm going to embarrass her. She's one of the most understated forces of nature I've ever met. And I mean that in the best way. In her role as project manager at the Washington Trust for Historic Preservation, Alex Gradwell oversaw the planning and the implementation of Washington's new maritime heritage area. I'll let her fill you all in on the details of what that is, but imagine a stakeholder group that is 2,000 miles long and a quarter-mile wide and touches basically every coastal community and organization in Washington. And the goat rodeo that must have been to like turn into a cogent plan, and Alex did it. She's amazing. Absolutely amazing. She's the kind of partner you dream of having when you're in a role like mine, and so I'm so thrilled she said yes to being here tonight and talking to you all. So without further ado, Alex, grab it.
Thank you so much. I don't know if I can live up to that introduction. Although I will say, after 2 years of partnership virtually, this is actually the first time I have seen Jake in person. So, yeah. I think we spent. No, I think you're taller than I expected. So like Jake said, my name is Alex Gradwell. I work for the Washington Trust for Historic Preservation. I am the project manager for the Maritime Washington National Heritage Area. Two exceptionally long names. We're really trying to shorten them. I'll let you guys know if we are successful at any point. Jake may have brain fog from COVID, but I have brain fog because I have spent the past week exploring port terms with 36 high school students as part of our annual Youth Heritage Project. So the Youth Heritage Project is the Washington Trust annual program for teens focused on heritage and place-based learning. It's basically history camp. This year, we were really thrilled to come to Port Townsend. We were supposed to come here in 2020. Obviously, that was put off a little bit. Where the students focused on storytelling through the lens of the Maritime Washington National Heritage Area. So students dove into this exceptionally unique place through a range of activities, including a chance to get out on the water and learn about trades from the Northwest Maritime Center. For several students, this was not only their first time on a boat, it was their first time seeing the ocean. For other students, including two students from the inaugural class of the Maritime High School, this was very familiar territory and they were able to serve as mentors to their peers. All of the students, however, had very memorable and impactful experiences, exposing them to new options for recreation, education, and careers. In looking through everyone's final surveys today, many named the longboats, trades tour, or pilot house simulator as the most interesting thing they did the entire week. And I think one student summed it up very well on her final survey. She said, "I loved the longboats and learning about all the maritime jobs I've never even thought about. I also learned that oars are very heavy. I'm still very sore." So soreness aside though, the experience with the Maritime Center really allowed students to get hands-on with what makes maritime heritage in our state so special, which is not just its rich history, but its vibrant present. Like the Maritime Center, engaging people with our saltwater shorelines is one of the core goals of the Maritime Washington National Heritage Area. Maritime Washington was designated by Congress in 2019. It includes actually 3,000 miles of Washington state shoreline, and it was named in recognition of the national significance, the national uniqueness, the national importance of Washington's maritime heritage. We are, in fact, out of 55 national heritage areas, the only one that is focused solely on maritime heritage. So, take that and kiss. This is usually the part in the speech where I try to convince everyone that Washington's maritime heritage is important, but I like that with this audience I don't need to do that at all. So I will just say that national heritage areas are meant to celebrate, maintain, and share that unique culture and that unique history of your region. We at the Maritime Washington National Heritage Area are very lucky that there's already so many wonderful organizations doing that work. So our particular aim is to build and support a network of those organizations to strengthen the maritime community and connect people with the stories and experiences of our state's saltwater shorelines. Throughout the planning process for this new heritage area, the Northwest Maritime Center serves as an anchor organization, which means they help engage their community in the visioning process. They particularly want to make sure that youth perspectives were reflected in charting the course ahead for this new program. They helped us wrestle with really thorny questions about how to inspire the next generation of maritime practitioners, the people who will care for our maritime resources and carry on the traditions that make our heritage really unique and special. First, we want to encourage more young people to experience our saltwater shorelines and the many ways they can both work and play along them. We can do that through programs like the Youth Heritage Project, but given how tired I am at the end of this week, I don't think that we're going to be able to do that enough to make a really large impact. So we really want to do that through supporting partners who are already doing that fantastic work. And those are partners like the Maritime Center. Second, we want to be able to activate the power of storytelling to help more youth see themselves reflected and people like them reflected in maritime culture. Through stories of modern trades, more diverse maritime communities and practitioners, we really hope to show the next generation that our waters truly are a place for everyone. The heritage area will serve as a platform and as an amplifier for those kinds of stories. Stories created about and with organizations like the Northwest Maritime Center. By inspiring the next generation, we believe we can preserve not just the physical structures that make our coastline so unique, but more importantly, the daily practices, trades, and ways of life that define our vibrant maritime identity. We really, really look forward to continuing to work with all of you and with the Northwest Maritime Center on this critical mission. Thank you.
Matt Rothschild is one of those Maritime Center stories that is as remarkable as it's becoming normal. And that's one of those kids who came up through the ranks, who did all the programs, did our programs, and then went to California Maritime Academy, and then came back to work for us this summer being the deckhand on the Admiral Jack. He's a fantastic person and wasn't able to join us tonight, but recorded a short video about what this place, this community, and these programs have meant to him and how he's allowed him to show up as a strong person in the world. So I think we're ready.
Hello all, I'm Matthew Rothschild. I graduated in 2020 from Port Townsend High School and the Port Townsend Maritime Academy in its inaugural year. I am going into my junior year at Cal Maritime in Vallejo, California, where I'm majoring in oceanography. I also happen to be in the inaugural class of oceanography, the smallest major on campus, a total of 5 including me in the class of 2024. I originally applied to Cal Maritime's Marine Transportation program and to minor in oceanography, since I'd always enjoyed science. It was a blessing in disguise that I was not accepted into the Marine Transportation program, but I was accepted into the new oceanography major. I realized that it is much easier to start my mariner career later, but it would be harder to start my oceanography career later. And I've already started earning my CTEM, my small tonnage license. I first got involved at the Northwest Maritime Center when I could barely walk and talk. I would attend the Wooden Boat Festival on my grandpa's wooden boat, but my first summer camp I took was the Messing Around in Boats camp. Then, in the following summers, I got into the Learn to Sail camps, from beginning to advanced small boat sailing. I have been involved ever since. In 7th grade, I attended the Maritime Discovery program. In high school, I took all the maritime courses, including vessel operations, maritime boat building, maritime manufacturing, and schooner school, an after-school program in my sophomore year. Finally, in my senior year of high school, I was part of the inaugural Port Townsend Maritime Academy, which got cut short because of COVID. At Cal Maritime, in my freshman year, I had endless hours of Zoom, biology, ecology, chemistry, labs, and lectures. However, one positive that came out of COVID and distance learning was that I became very good at interpreting blurry lab images and videos, since my chemistry professor was very talented in taking images and videos without focusing the camera. This is just a metaphor for the beginning of my career, where answers to questions we have aren't clear and straightforward. They're often very messy and sometimes very confusing to our current understanding. I was able to attend the academy in person for the first time my sophomore year. I'm now on my summer break from Cal Maritime, and I was able to mentor and help the Port Townsend Maritime Academy at the end of their school year. I'm also the summer deckhand here at the Maritime Center, Admiral Jack, for the Saturday Maritime History Bay Tours. I had mostly female mentors, teachers, and captains at the Maritime Center, Port Townsend High School, and at my high school job at Pygmy Boats. I learned from and was shown by these women that they are just as capable, and even more capable, than their male counterparts in a male-dominated maritime industry. Growing up in Port Townsend, I just thought this was the norm. I learned very quickly after attending CalMem in person this past year that many people attending the academy and the industry do not share the same views. They're often very open and public about these views, and what they say is very damaging and harmful to some on campus. I have seen things such as swastikas and 3% logos. I've also heard many times something along the lines of, why is this place not just for white males fresh out of high school who want to come here for the United States Coast Guard license and go work at sea only? One of the most important life skills I learned growing up at the Maritime Center was to be accepting and respectful of others. This has taught me to be a positive voice in influencing the maritime industry that is having a hard time accepting these cultural changes. I was imagining and planning that I was just going to attend Cal Maritime to be a cadet, but now I feel I have to not just be a student, but also an advocate for basic values like respect and acceptance, all of which I learned from all my amazing mentors and teachers at the Maritime Center and Port Townsend High School.
I was going to get through this without crying. That's fair. The last time I met our last speaker was in the lead up to the race to Alaska. I guess I was fanboying around the teams and she was kind of fangirling around the teams as they were coming in. We were just checking. We were just very excited to meet them as they were coming to the docks. Grace has been involved with the Girls Boat Project for years. And to paraphrase one of her teachers, there are some students who already changed the world they live in. And Grace is one of them. She's known as someone with the ability to pick up a tool and quickly learn how to use it with a sense of ease. She is a kind, strong leader who makes those around her feel heard and included. And she has big dreams and is already doing the work to make them a reality. So I'd like to welcome to the podium, Grace again.
Hi, my name is Grace. I'm part of the Girls Boat Project, and I hope to participate in the Race to Alaska in 2025 with my friend Nova. It's over there somewhere. My interest in racing started in 2020 when one of my friends dragged me into the Girls Boat Project. And through Girls Boat Project, I got to have fun building a boat with some very talented people. We would meet every Wednesday after school to work on a little Skunk Island skiff that we unfortunately never finished because the program was cut short due to COVID. We did a couple weeks of Girls Boat Project on Zoom, but it's not exactly the same because you can't build a boat on Zoom. But, we tried. On one of the last days that I got to go in person, a bunch of people were talking about something called the Race to Alaska, which I had never heard of. So I started reading about it. And that's how I was officially introduced to the R2AK, a 750-mile race from here to Ketchikan, Alaska. When I saw the 2020 Race to Alaska movie, the second the credits started rolling, I knew that this was something that I wanted to do. I had no idea where to start, I couldn't leave the house, and I was young. So I just read. I read about a lot of things that I didn't understand, like charts and navigation and current patterns from all the way here to Alaska. And then something really awesome happened. I got an email saying that Girls Boat Project was opening back up, and this time I dragged a huge group of my friends into it to kind of repay the favor in a sort of way. And for once, we were in the group. Usually we're in the group with the younger kids, and it was pretty amazing because this time we were part of the older group. This year we did get to finish our boat, the SS Fish Butter, which is out there, named after the goldfish crackers and the sunflower butter that we would eat at all of our meals. 5 to 6 months before this year's Race to Alaska start, we put together kind of a crew of some sorts. 4 girls and 1 year, kind of the old manager, Fern, over there. We started an Instagram page in hopes to raise awareness and maybe find someone who's willing to sell us a boat. We started doing odd jobs like weeding, like anything that you can imagine to try and raise money for this boat. And we store it in this little box, little shoebox that we put under my bed. This year, it was really amazing to see such a young team competing. Having an average age of 16.75, rite of passage finished in 9th place. And when I tell you we were excited, I mean we were totally freaking out. It was amazing. When rite of passage stayed, when the storm a little bit of a storm, hit right after the race started, and a bunch of other boats stayed with them. We got to meet them, and we were so nervous to meet them, and so we stood at the top of the gangway on the way down to the dock, and we couldn't go down because they were so experienced, and they were huge, and they were kind of scared of teenagers. But they were some of the nicest people that I've ever met. They showed us stuff like their gear and their rules on the boat, their emergency procedures, and they gave us lollipops. So. Spending time with them made us realize more than ever that our dream is a possibility. Thank you for listening to our story, and we hope to see you in Alaska.
I was really the only one who needed this. Hello, my name is Len Maranan Goldstein. This is my 14th year at the Northwest Maritime Center. But before I start, I would like this opportunity to acknowledge the Maritime Center's staff and volunteers who are here and are not here. And there was a special request to shout out to Kelly Watson, who was really instrumental in Matt's transformation. They make maritime learning and adventure here in our community and in communities beyond, like Highline schools, possible. I am so grateful and so proud to be working with you. This is also my 10th year organizing this event, but the very first time I get to stand up here before you to ask you one simple thing. Please give, and give generously. Why? Because Matt, Grace, Nova, Fern, and some other kids actually who are here tonight found their way here today because of the programs and the people that your generosity makes possible. Because so many other students have stood right here before them with their own stories of that spark, that transformation, that moment when they realize what they want to be when they grow up, what their place in the world is, and how they want to make a difference. And whether they know it at the time or not, that spark is building towards making our world a better place. A more courageous, resilient world, yes, but also a kinder, more caring world. It doesn't take a leap of the imagination to see that your gift today helps make our world just a little bit better because of what it helps make possible. When a program like the Youth Heritage Project connects 36 students from all over to our own community right here, to these shores that are just behind you all. When young people like Grace, Nova, and Fern move from daydreaming about the race to Alaska to actually working towards it, including saving their odd jobs money under the bed. When someone like Matt stands up to neo-Nazis and white supremacists when all he wanted to do was go to Cal Maritime, study oceanography, and get his small tonnage license. These are the stories that your generosity brings to life. The acts of courage and kindness that will be repeated over and over again for years to come. So long as we have this community that believes in the work and in the people to make it happen and invests in it. Speaking of investment, I have fun news to share with you tonight. The Cooper Newell Foundation, longtime supporters of the Northwest Maritime Center, has issued a matching gift challenge for this evening. They will match dollar for dollar gifts of $500 and up to $20,000 in new gifts. And if you make that gift a multi-year pledge, the full value of your pledge will count towards the match. You probably came here with some notion of what you want to do or what you want to give. But I hope that after listening to Matt, to Alex, to Grace, and now having this matching gift challenge in front of all of us, that you will be inspired to stretch your giving and even consider a multi-year pledge. If you already have a multi-year pledge or made a gift earlier this year, first of all, thank you. I hope you will consider making a one-time gift in support of this event and to help us meet the matching gift challenge. We're going to change the rules a bit. Table captains, please wait until the end of my remarks to hand out the pledge forms from your packets. And to everyone, when you've completed your pledge forms, please hand them to your table captain, or you can drop them in SS Fish Butter on your way out. With this, I would like to end the formal part of our program and invite you all to stay. The tapas buffet will be open until 8:30. We will be serving drinks until 9, so stay a while, eat and drink, and let's celebrate what it is to be in community, because this truly is a special community. Thank you for being here today, for being part of the ever-widening community of Maritime Center supporters, and for helping us build a courageous, resilient, and kinder world. And now, I would like to welcome back to the stage Stringology. Have a wonderful evening, and thank you.